All right. So we are on page 438 of Sri Sharda Devi and Her Divine Play. And we'll just jump in here. Later, in order to solve the milk problem in Holy Mother's household, 4 cows were purchased, and a boy named Dinu was appointed to look after them. A neighbor, Gopal Mandal, recalls aunt, meaning Holy Mother, had 4 cows, Mahanta, Maharaj, Lakshmikanta, and Indraraj. In between her household work, aunt would feed the cows with water from boiled rice and then caress their foreheads, their dewlaps, and their backs. Sometimes she would rub oil on their horns. Dinu used to take the cows to graze. Aunt was very fond of him. After his breakfast, Dino would take the cows to the field and come back at 1 o'clock. Aunt would wait to eat until Dino had his lunch. Again, just this paragraph, it's not saying just a whole lot, but look at the way that he talks about his aunt, her fondness for the cows. And I mean, imagine she oiling the horns and, caressing their foreheads and rubbing them. Yeah, it's just amazing. And then waiting for Dino, always being mindful, not just going ahead and serving food or eating food, but actually waiting for him to be there so that she could eat with him. Surendranath Tagore also wrote an eyewitness account. Very early one morning in Jairambati, a calf was piteously crying in the outer courtyard of the mother's house. The calf was kept separate from its mother at night for the purpose of milking the cow. Hearing its cries, the mother rushed out, saying, "I'm coming, my child, I'm coming. I will release you right now." She immediately freed the calf from its tether. Amazed, I witnessed the Divine Mother's compassion for all beings. In Holy Mother's house, there was a pet parrot named Gangaram. Every day, the mother gave it a bath, cleaned its cage, and gave it food and water. Every morning and evening, the mother said to the bird, "My child, Gangaram, now repeat your mantra." The parrot would then call out, "Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna, Krishna, Rama, Rama." Oh my gosh. The mother had taught it to chant God's names. It also learned from the mother the names of the brahmacharins and could utter them clearly. Sometimes it called, "Ma, oh Ma," and mother responded, "Coming, my child, I'm coming." She would carry some gram and water for the bird, and she knew that what the bird's call meant, it was hungry. Radu had a pet cat, and mother arranged a daily ration of milk for it. It would lie down near Holy Mother's feet peacefully and fearlessly. When it was a little naughty, Holy Mother would pretend that she was going to punish it with a stick, but this only made the cat creep nearer to her feet. Laughing, she would throw away the stick, and everyone would laugh, seeing the mother's playful mood. Cats are given to stealing food, but this did not bother the mother at all. She remarked, "To steal food is its dharma. Who is always there to feed it lovingly?" One day, 2 cats fought over some food, and the leg of one of them was sprained. Concerned, the mother said, "One leg of this cat is injured. Now, how will it hunt for food? Please call Dr. Nalin." The doctor came and put a bandage on the cat's leg with a small piece of wood and cloth. The cat got well within a few days. I don't think we have to say anything, but it's just pleasant even to hear about that. I know you're very thrilled, Bhagavan. Holy Mother taking care of the animals like that. But there's a tradition that holy men, sadhus, holy people taking care of the animals, feeding animals. Actually, Ramakrishna says in the gospel that it's a very good thing. It's an auspicious thing for a holy man to feed animals, to give some food to the animals.
Sheshananda Ji used to do that. People
Yeah.
would bring the animals to him, and even when the animals passed away, they would bring them to him, and he would take the animal into the shrine and do a puja. And then he would feed the animals, the dogs, prasad. And then he wouldn't start class until this old orange marmalade male cat who adopted him would
Uh-huh.
come to class. Go figure.
That's that's awesome. I actually saw this when I was over there. I can't remember what ashram I was in. It was way out in the country, down in South India. And there was a very, very senior monk there whom the brothers there told me was enlightened. And I believed it. His eyes were on fire. And when he laughed, my goodness, the whole room would rumble with his laugh. It just came up from the bottom. And he would sit there and he would always have two plates for his lunch. And anytime the cook would come around or the brahmachari would come around, he would ask for seconds on the second plate. And when he was finished, when dinner was over, he would take that second plate outside and give it to the street dogs
Yeah.
out there. And he did it every single day, every day. It was great to watch. He would never say anything. He was very, very quiet and very withdrawn. But you could tell there was something very, very otherworldly going on in him.
Well, you know,
Most
it's
of-
because they see it as Krishna above and Krishna below.
Yeah,
Oh, and
Mhm.
we're the only ones that don't realize that we're Krishna in the link of the chain, you know?
yeah. But we will. In Udbodhan house, oh, here comes Arnold. In Udbodhan house, a cat gave birth to her kittens on Brahmachari Ganendranath's bed. Ooh, that's messy. Holy Mother and Golap Ma hurriedly cleaned Ganen's bed and changed the sheet. Holy Mother was apprehensive that Ganen might throw the cat out of the house. So she said to him affectionately, "That cat lives here and eats here. Where could it have gone for delivery? My son, don't hurt that cat." Pravrajaka Bharatiprana recalled. In Udbodhan house, Radu had two cats, Ranga and Ramani. They were good-natured and never tried to get food from others' plates. They ate only when Radu or Golap Ma fed them. The mother was also fond of them. One day, Ranga soiled a bed, so Ras Bahari banished it to a distant place. The mother lamented, "My goodness, what is this? What has Ras Bahari done this morning?" Right? He is a monk. He does not have any maya, that is, feelings. Oh. He is a monk. He does not have any maya, that is, feelings. That's an interesting statement. That really jumps out, that a monk doesn't have feelings. I guess no attachments. And so no attachments, there's no bother about those things. Interesting. I'd like to look into that, actually. Ratu and Golap Ma felt very bad for that cat. However, the cat returned to Udbodhan house after 4 months. It was emaciated and died on the street after a few days. Golap Ma immersed it in the Ganges and got the mother's permission to perform a ceremony for it. The mother commented, "You see, that cat was a devotee who had been cursed." Golap Ma collected some funds and arranged a festival on the 13th day after its demise. Some monks from Bellarmont came and sang Kali Kirtan, and all enjoyed a nice feast. They remarked, "This cat is definitely fortunate, so its memorial festival has been held in Mother's house." What a sweet scene that is. It's almost like a bunch of kids, around their pet hamster. Just to see that guilelessness, that just naked heart out there like that. Once in Jairambati, Radu's pet cat was lying in the courtyard. A woman was caressing it with her foot, and she touched her foot to its head. Observing this, Holy Mother said, "Oh my goodness, what are you doing? The head is the seat of the Guru. Should one place one's foot there? Salute the cat." The lady replied, "I never knew that, Mother. Just now I have learned this from you." Wow. Even going to that extent of respect toward the animal. I don't know. This is amazing. The mother's maid, Basanabala, reminisced. One day in Jairambati, the mother sat for her lunch, but had not yet started eating. I also made a plate ready. Suddenly, a cat began to eat from my plate. The mother did not say anything, nor did she take any action against the cat. She simply said, Vasana, let me share my food with you. She then gave half of her food to me, and we ate together. That's amazing. So that is so cool. So they let the cat totally have the food, and mother cut her portions in half to share it. It was the 28th of March, 1913 at Jairambati. Swami Arupananda wrote in his reminiscences, the crazy aunt, Radhu's mother, was arranging lunch for a relative by placing a leaf plate and a glass of water on her veranda. Radhu's cat sipped water from that glass, so she replaced it with another glass of water. This time also the cat sipped the water. The crazy aunt chased the cat, shouting, "I'll kill you." The mother was nearby. She said, one should not prevent a thirsty animal from drinking. Moreover, the cat has already touched that water. Immediately, the crazy aunt flared up, saying, "You will not have to show your overflowing compassion to that cat. You have shown enough compassion to people. Why not reserve your kindness for human beings?" The mother gravely said, "That person is really unfortunate who is deprived of my compassion. I don't know anyone, even an insect, who is not a recipient of my compassion." Once in Jairambati, a Naga monk came into the village riding on a small elephant. The mother carried some rice and fed the elephant. She then put a vermilion mark on the elephant's forehead. She also gave some money to the monk to buy his food. Not just not missing an opportunity, showing all that kindness and that respect, even, even spiritual respect to these animals. I am the mother of the virtuous and the wicked. In this world, there is no glory in making a good person good, but it is praiseworthy if one can make a bad person good. One cannot help a weak person or a sinner by reminding him of his weakness or sin. No one in this world is absolutely good or absolutely bad. The mother knew her children's bad and good qualities. She said, "People by nature often do evil things. How few know how to make them good." That's a very interesting statement there. One cannot help a weak person or a sinner by reminding him of his weakness. It's not even mentioning it. I noticed that in the way Ramakrishna treated Girish, that even though he was an alcoholic, Ramakrishna never told him that he needed to stop drinking, and even made sure that he always had his wine, if he left it in the cab or something. It's a very interesting thing. It's a knowledge, when he says nobody is totally bad or totally good, but they know that the divine nature is within, and that is going to be self-correcting in time. And so it's really a good thing for us. And we talk about this quite a bit because it's very important. We identify with body mind. That's utterly true, of course. But one thing that we can really start with is not identifying with our faults. Not using the I when we talk about our shortcomings or our faults. To just not reinforce our habits by thinking about them or by associating them regularly with ourselves, or by identifying ourselves with them or by them, because then it becomes a little bit part of our narrative, part of our story, and it becomes more difficult to overcome. Probably in 1901, Holy Mother was staying in a rented house at 102 Bospara Lane in Bagbazar. Swamiji had sent an Orissan servant away from Bellarmont for stealing. He was a poor man, and his family depended on his income. The helpless man went to the mother, confessed his crime, and begged her forgiveness. The mother gave him shelter and fed him. In the afternoon, when Premananda came to pay his respects to her, the mother said to him, "Look, Baburam, this man is very poor. Impelled by poverty, he committed a mistake. For that reason, Naren reprimanded him and drove him out. You see this world, it's full of misery. You are monks, so you understand very little of it. Take him back to Bellarmont. Premananda tried to convince the mother that this might displease Swamiji. Agitated, the mother said, I say, take him back. Wow, I love it. When Premananda returned to the mott with that servant, Swamiji remarked, Look at Baburam's senseless act. He's brought back that fellow. When Premananda told Swamiji the whole story, he did not utter another word. See, that's the kind of relationship, that's the respect they had for the Divine Mother. Her word was absolute. There was no arguing with it. They gave way to her completely. And you can see why. I mean, look at that heart of compassion. She looked at the whole picture. I just, well, that really touches me to think that that's how Mother sees us, you know. Holy Mother had all sorts of devotees. Some were pure and virtuous, some were impure and sinful, and some strange and crazy. As the 5 fingers of a person are not all of equal length, so all of a mother's children are not the same. Generally, a mother is more compassionate to her weak children than to her strong ones. A young disciple of the mother talked privately to her on the northern veranda of her room in Udbodhan House. He lamented, Mother, I've suffered a lot because of my bad karma. You are my guru, my chosen deity, and all in all. In fact, I have committed so many sins that I'm ashamed to tell them to you. Your grace is holding me. The mother caressed his head with her hand and said, Despite everything, a son remains a son to his mother. Touched by the mother's affection, the young man said, Mother, you are right. I have received so much grace from you. But may I never think that your grace is easily available. An educated young man from a wealthy family in a village close to Jairambati received initiation from Holy Mother. He established an ashram in his village and did a lot of social work. Unfortunately, he fell in love with a young widow who was his close relative. Gossip spreads fast from mouth to mouth. The people of Jairambati heard about it, and the devotees asked Holy Mother to forbid him from visiting. The mother was sad when she learned of her disciple's fall, but she said, I am a mother. How can I forbid him from seeing me? Such words will never pass through my lips. Wow. Wow. That's a beautiful meditation right there. The mother was sad when she learned of her disciple's fall, but she said, I am a mother. How can I forbid him from seeing me? Such words will never pass through my lips. What a promise. That's a promise for us right there. And no matter what situation we get ourselves into, Mother will never forbid us from seeing her. That young man continued to visit the mother, and one day he brought the woman to her. The mother considered it to be providence and forgave them. There was a young widow in Jairambati who was very poor and earned her livelihood by hard manual labor. She did not remember when she had been married or even who her husband had been. It was only when she grew up that she learned she was a widow, and at that time, a Hindu widow could not marry again. Such girls generally lived with their parents or husband's family like maidservants. She used to be called to the mother's house to carry the devotee's luggage. The mother had a great affection for this young widow. When the girl attained womanhood, she fell in love with a young man, And when their love affair became known, there was a big commotion in that conservative society. Hard-hearted social leaders wanted to punish her. For most of her life, no one had thought to help or give her any education. And now they began to verbally abuse her. Isn't that the way it is? Oh my gosh. Holy Mother heard the whole story and was worried about the young woman's future. She wholeheartedly prayed to God for the young woman's welfare. God answered Holy Mother's prayer. A wealthy landlord of a neighboring village, who was a disciple of the mother, intervened and reminded the leaders to have a compassionate outlook toward that girl. Peace returned to the village. The mother heaved a sigh of relief. When that landlord came to bow down to the mother, she joyfully blessed him, saying, "My son, you have saved that poor girl from misery. I am extremely pleased and relieved. May the Lord bless you for this intervention." Swami Keshavananda related an important incident that took place in Kualpara in 1919. One day I said to the mother, "Mother, your health is not good, and you are suffering from illness off and on. The person who is cooking for you, you know her questionable character. If you allow me, I can find another cook for you." Hearing my words, the mother became very grave and then said, "If you wish, you can get rid of her. But if I forsake her, where will she go?" I immediately fell at the mother's feet and begged forgiveness. "Mother, I've made a big mistake. Please be gracious to me and forgive me. Who else can give this kind of reassurance? If I forsake her, where will she go? Wherever we may be, we are none other than the mother's children. She herself said, 'If my children are covered with dirt, I will have to take them on my lap after cleaning and washing them. I am their real mother and not a foster mother.'" We've been talking about this when we were down in Atlanta just the last few days quite a bit. Just this whole notion that this really lays out here our method of meditation, our surrender and acceptance of grace, that it's mother who has taken responsibility for cleaning us up. And we, knowing that we are not the doers, our meditation is an act of love. It's a surrender in itself, to place ourselves before the mother and to make us completely available to her, like a baby, like a child, and to allow the mother, just through our remembrance of her, to purify us and to clean us inside, to rid us of that me and mine. And it's through that surrender, through that submission, through that acceptance of grace that we find a release from karma, a release from that guilt and from that shame. And in that relationship with that beloved mother, we really get comforted. I am their real mother, not a foster mother. Holy Mother was all-knowing and a savior of the fallen. Swami Bhumananda wrote this eyewitness account of a famous actress who had led a sinful life and came to the mother for succor. One morning at 8 o'clock, a woman came to Udbodhan House by car. She walked straight to the steps as if the house were known to her. Later, I learned that it was her first visit. The mother was in her room with Yogan Ma, Golap Ma, and the wife of Dr. Agoranath Ghosh. The mother was talking when all of a sudden she said to her companions, "Please wait a little. I will return soon." She walked from her room toward the steps. The woman on the steps was a well-known actress. She was sobbing with her head on the railing of the steps. The mother came down, touched her head, and then hugged her affectionately. Then the mother said to her, "When you come to the master, you will not have to cry anymore." This assurance made the woman cry even harder. The mother led her upstairs and wiped her eyes with the corner of her cloth. She said, "Now go to the master, bow down to him with a smiling face." See again that assurance. This is how we approach the divine in our practice, with the confidence and reassurance of the divine grace, and that in that we find that confidence to approach God with a smile, with confidence, with dignity, because that's what Mother's grace has given back to us and has reestablished in us, despite all of the faults that we have. On the upper veranda, the actress first bowed down to the mother, who blessed her by touching her head. The mother also touched her chin with her fingers and kissed them, which was her way of showing love and affection. She took the actress to the shrine. Pointing to the master's picture on the altar, she said, "Now bow down to the master." That noon, the actress had her prasad sitting next to the mother, who shared some of her food with her. Can we understand this? Can we know what this means for us? This is all a metaphor for our relationship. That it's the grace of the mother. She will not deny us. She is not our foster mother. It's not an impersonal relationship. We are her very children. She's promised not to leave us. She has given them this grace, given them their dignity back, given them their strength back, sent them to the master, and then takes them and eats with them and shares her food. I mean, that is an amazing act of intimacy and forgiveness, of camaraderie, of oneness, really. Another time, the mother was staying at Jagadamba Ashrama in Goalpara. A young woman from a low-caste family came to her with a broken heart and complained that her paramour had suddenly deserted her. She wept bitterly as she related her sad tale to the mother. She had given up her friends and family to live with him, and now she was completely helpless. Touched by her plight, the mother sent for the man and rebuked him gently. "This girl has given up everything and everyone for you, and you have taken her service for a long time. Now, if you leave her, you will incur a great sin. You won't find a place even in hell." Ooh. Ooh. The mother's words penetrated his heart. He had a change of heart and accompanied that girl home. Look at those words. Look at those words. Mother is not sentimental. We should not mistake her love for us and her grace for us as license or permission. There is a strength. There is a strength in Shakti and an integrity in Shakti. It's that us being the recipients of such a grace must in fact develop a gracious heart toward others. That this grace and this love that Mother gives to us is not meant to stop with us. We're meant to turn around with this grace and this love, and we're meant to pass it on. We train ourselves. We forgive because we've been forgiven. We love because we've been loved. We're kind because we've had kindness given to us. This is that idea that our spiritual relationship is not a grabbing after something, not trying to attain something, but that our spiritual practice is a response to our faith and grace, our knowledge of our knowing that all is well, that it's okay, and that it's okay all the way down. And it's because of that we soften our heart and we serve. We break our ego and we forgive. And you see how seriously she says, if you leave her, you will incur a great sin. You won't find a place even in hell. If you take this grace and nothing comes of it from you, be careful. It was not possible for Holy Mother to see faults in others, and she did not like others seeing faults either. Once in Jairambati, some devotees complained to the mother that someone who had been her attendant now lived in Rishikesh and was quarreling with the monks there. They added, "How could he have such bad tendencies after having lived with you and served you so long?" When they left, Holy Mother said to Brahmachari Bharata, "My son, I can no longer see or hear of anyone's faults. One will have to reap the results of one's own past karma. If one were destined to have a deep cut, at the very least, one would get the prick of a needle." They talked about A's faults to me, but where were they in those days? He served me so well. In those days, I lived with my brother's family, and I would boil the paddy and then husk it. I used to do all the household work because my sisters-in-law were quite young. Without caring for the cold or the rain and covered with soot, A would help me by taking the big vessels of boiled paddy down from the wooden stove. No, wooden stove, that is. Now many devotees come, but who was helping me then? Should I forget it all? Well, people should not be blamed. Previously, I noticed some people's shortcomings. Later, I prayed to the Master with tears, "Master, may I never see the faults of others." Thus, after long prayers, I got rid of that bad habit. You know, the mother mentioned this. We read this quite a few chapters earlier, where she said, you know, that in the world, you can do 1,000 nice things for someone or 100 good deeds towards someone, and then you make one mistake toward them, and that's the one mistake they always remember, forgetting your 100 good deeds. And mother was the opposite. She said, no, if someone has done even a trifle of goodness toward you, remember that about them, even if they commit 99 sins against you. This really drives home our ideal that we see the very highest in each other. We don't speak ill of others. We don't indulge in talk about someone's faults. You know, we don't disguise a talk about someone's faults by talking about what they could do better. We have an eye of graciousness because the eye of graciousness has given that to us. Holy Mother always saw the good qualities in her children. She always sees the good qualities in us. Always. Ramakrishna accepted disciples only after testing them, but the mother accepted everyone who came to her without discrimination. It is not possible for a real mother to reject her bad children and welcome only the good ones. Once M was so offended by the conduct of a certain devotee that he requested that the mother not allow him to be anywhere near her. She replied, "If my son is besmeared with dust and dirt, I will have to clean him and take him on my lap." Girish Ghosh, the Bohemian devotee of Ramakrishna, said, "The master gave shelter to a horrible sinner like me. If I had known that there was such a large dustbin to dump all of my sins in, I would have enjoyed more pleasures in my life." Like the master, the mother also gave shelter to so many people with questionable character. Although her whole body burned with their sins, she endured it silently without a murmur. One day, when the visitors had left, Brahmachari Rashbahari saw Holy Mother washing her feet up to the knees again and again. When she asked why, she replied, "Don't allow anyone to salute me by touching his head to my feet. Thus all the sins enter through my body and my feet burn. So I have to wash my feet. For this reason, I suffer from illness. Tell people to bow down from a distance." Then she immediately changed her mind and said, "No, please don't tell these things to Sharadananda. He will stop salutations altogether." The great teachers of the world do not compromise truth. Even an avatar cannot satisfy everyone, since each person is different. Sometimes a great teacher's actions are misunderstood because people judge according to their own viewpoints. And this is the very important thing for us to remember. You know, our viewpoint is generally very favorable toward ourselves, right? But very, very harsh sometimes toward others. Once a fallen woman came to Udbodhan house and fell at the mother's feet. Holy Mother embraced her and said, "Come to me, my daughter. Now you have realized what sin is. You are repentant. I will initiate you with the mantra. Offer yourself at the feet of the Master. Don't be afraid." Some aristocratic women from Bagbazar, including Krishna Bhavani, Balaram's wife, heard that the mother had given shelter to a woman of questionable character, so they decided to stay away. Krishna Bhavini told this to Golap Ma, and she reported it to Holy Mother. She remarked, "Those who have taken refuge in me will come here. What can I do if someone's coming to me stops another's coming?" Later, Krishna Bhavini came to the mother and apologized for her wrong judgment. Swami Shyamananda came to Calcutta regularly from Bellarmont to shop. If the tide was high, he would return straightway to Bellarmont by boat with the groceries. Otherwise, he would come to Udbodhan house, bathe, and then have lunch. Once he arrived at 2 o'clock when everyone had finished lunch. Irritated, Golap Ma said, "He does not inform us in advance that he will come for lunch. It would be more convenient for us and for him if he would let us know in the morning." The mother overheard Golap Ma remark and came out of her room. She said, "You see, our family is growing day by day. Every day we will have to make food for a couple of extra people. What to do?" Golap Ma said, "Chudu, Shyamananda, comes often, but he does not tell us when he will stay for lunch." "Let it be," the mother responded. "Please serve him lunch soon. Already it is late. My son has come after doing so many errands." You see, mother was just never thought about herself. I mean, she did what inspiration would do. She did what love would do. This is why we've been blessed with Satchitananda placed within us. You know, in the faith in us, we have all of this faith in God, but we know for sure that God has all of that faith in us as well. That we will take this Satchitananda, this gift of the divine image that he's placed within us, that we'll take that, and as we learn of it, and as we trust in it, and as we diminish our ego, that we will express from there. That love, that beautiful gift to us, will not sit there and rot in ourselves in selfishness, but that we will become like our teachers, like our masters, like our highest ideals. And we will be their hands and their hearts to serve and to care and to give in this world. And we will do it out of joy, out of a response to such an amazing love. And this is our practice. And this is what we learn through our surrender at just offering ourselves to the beloved in our practice. We grow in an understanding of that love. We feel that love. We experience that love in ourself. We do not serve a phantom or just an idea or a religious principle or a belief. It has nothing to do with that. It's the isness of our moment. It's our being. And we grow deeply in touch with that. We grow inspired by that. And we become something that we could never have become on our own. We begin to live in a way that we could never have found the strength to live like in our days of self-service, in our days of egoism and self-concern. And we see that here as she's talking to Golomaz, saying, she doesn't scold her. She just says, just go. It doesn't matter. Yes, there are other ways that we could be convenienced, that he could have been more communicative or whatever with us. But we don't think that way because it's not ourself that we worry about. As we unfold, we our heart is for others, and there's just no question. There's no reservation. We go, we love, we serve, and we do it as a thrill. Let it be, Holy Mother responded. Please serve him lunch soon. Already it's late. My son has come after doing many errands. You have too much affection for him. It seems he is your father-in-law. Yes, you are right, Holy Mother agreed. These boys are like my venerable father-in-law. They are my own. Swami Mahadevananda recalled. It was July and raining continuously. I carried some vegetables from Kualpara Ashrama to Jairambati. When the mother saw me, she said, "You've come. Very good. No one has come here for some days. There is a shortage of groceries. You stay here today and do some shopping for us." In the afternoon, I went to the Haldipukur market to buy kerosene, flour, sugar, ghee, rock candy, and some other things. The weight of all the items was about 82 pounds. The shopkeeper told me, "It will be difficult for you to carry such a heavy load. Let me call a porter for you." I was thinking that the mother did not ask me to engage a porter, so I said, "Oh, I don't need a porter. I will be able to carry it. Please lift the basket onto my head." After carrying that basket for a while, I felt the weight of it and the ache in my head. It was raining. I held the umbrella over the basket with one hand and the basket with the other. The road was slippery and I was walking carefully. I was determined to walk the entire path. Along the way, there was a slope for crossing the bullock cart, and when I crossed it, I felt that entire load become light. I could not figure out what happened, and I stopped for a minute. Then, without any difficulty, I reached the mother's house. When I entered the house, I saw Mother pacing back and forth on her veranda. Her face was red and her eyes were bulging. She was asking herself, why did I not ask him to hire a porter? When I put down the basket, she said, "Why did you not hire a porter? You should not carry such a heavy load." Mahadevananda realized that during his journey, Holy Mother had relieved him by carrying the weight herself. Holy Mother's care for her children. During World War I, people suffered from a terrible financial crisis and scarcity of goods. Poor villagers had no money even to buy clothes. One morning, Haridas Vairagi, an old minstrel from Deshra, came to Jairambati. He used to make his living by playing his violin and singing devotional songs from door to door. He had sung the Agamani songs when Girish visited Holy Mother. The mother was very fond of this old minstrel. Now, when she saw his pitiful condition, she gave him some oil to rub on his rough skin. The mother heard his sad stories while preparing a betel roll for him. and she fed him prasad. In the course of conversation, Haridas told the mother that he had no spare cloth. That morning after her bath, the mother had spread a wet cloth in the sun that she had used only a couple of times. After hearing his story, she picked up that cloth and gave it to Haridas. Overwhelmed, the old man wept as he touched the mother's gift to his head and left. Akshay Sen, a householder devotee of the master and author of Sri Ramakrishna Punti, used to live in Mainapur, which is some miles from Jairambati. Because of his old age, he could not visit the mother, but from time to time, he sent some buffalo ghee and other things for her personal use. Once, a middle-aged woman brought Akshay's gifts to Holy Mother. She arrived before noon and had her bath and lunch at the mother's house. Seeing that she was exhausted, the mother asked her to rest and to stay overnight. A bed was made for her on the veranda outside the mother's room. The woman was a little feverish and achy, so she fell fast asleep. During the night, she unconsciously soiled her bed. The mother got up very early in the morning as usual. When she saw the situation, she realized that the woman might be abused if the others in the household found out about it. So the mother gently woke her up. She handed her a package of puffed rice and molasses, and then tenderly told her, "My child, start your journey now so that you can reach home before the sun gets hot." The woman bowed down to the mother and left. The mother quickly took the soiled mat to the pond, washed it, and laid it on the grass to dry. Oh, here we get a very literal demonstration of mother cleaning up the child's mess, Didn't ask the woman to do it. That's what I thought was going to happen, that she was going to wake her up and let the woman clean it all before anybody found out about it. But it was much sweeter than that. She gets her up, gives her some breakfast, and tells her to go before the sun gets too hot. And then she takes it and cleans it without a word, without even acknowledging that she was aware of it. What a sweetness. At the time of our story, Jairambati was truly a remote village, accessible only by foot or bullock cart. In the autumn, the road was soft and muddy from the monsoon rains, so bullock carts could not reach the village. A couple from Garbeta, about 20 miles from Jairambati, had heard about Holy Mother and wanted to receive her grace. One afternoon, they started their journey by bullock cart with their 4 children. The next morning, they reached Jibta, a couple of miles south of Jairambati, and then walked to the mother's house. Everyone was exhausted, especially the baby who was suffering from malaria. The place and people were completely unknown to them. Utterly puzzled, they just stood at the mother's door. As soon as the mother heard of their arrival, she called them inside the house and received them cordially. They all bowed down to her, and the magic of her affection greatly reassured them. The mother arranged for milk and medicine for the baby. The couple bathed in Banerjee's pond, and the mother initiated them after performing her daily worship. After lunch, they wanted to resume their journey to Burdwan, 34 miles from Jairambati. With tearful eyes, they bowed down to the mother. She reluctantly bade them farewell and gazed at them as long as they were visible. She was so sad at their departure that she did not go to take her noon rest, but instead remained seated on her veranda, deeply thinking of this family. Meanwhile, a woman devotee found a towel that belonged to them lying in the sun and took it to the mother, which increased her sadness. Observing the mother lamenting, Brahmachari Gopesh, later Swami Sharadeshananda, took the towel and ran to catch up with the couple. They were then near the Banerjee's pond at the border of the village. Naturally, they were embarrassed. They expressed their gratitude to him and continued their walk to Deshra, where their bullock cart was waiting for them. Having the news from Gopesh, Holy Mother was pleased. But soon after, the woman's wet sari was found hanging in the sun near Punyapukur. The mother loudly lamented, "Ah, my child will not find her sari tomorrow. She will remember that she left it at the mother's house." Another woman made a rude comment. "How can she manage herself with such a regiment of children?" The mother said in a choked voice, "It is natural to make mistakes. It was hard for my child to leave this place. She could not stay here even for a night, nor did she get a chance to talk to me fully." Gopesh was ready to go, but Nalini said, "Enough. You will not have to go again. They've gone quite a distance now." But Gopesh took that sari and said to the mother, "They have not gone too far. I shall be back soon." Pleased, the mother said, "My son, the sun is hot. You had better take an umbrella." In fact, the family had almost reached their bullock cart on the main road. Seeing Gopesh running towards them with the sari in his hand, the devotees were ashamed and apologized to him. They said, "Truly, there was no necessity for you to bring so much trouble, to go through so much trouble to bring the sari to us." But Gopesh explained that the mother was worried and was sorry for their plight, and to make the mother happy, he carried the sari. This brief meeting with the Holy Mother left a deep impression in their minds. They had experienced the genuine affection of a real mother.